welcome to another episode of the Fashion Grunge podcast. I am your host, Lauren.
And I'm Joy. Hi.
What's up, everyone? I'm excited. We're talking about Edward Scissorhands for this spooky season, even though this isn't really that spooky. But it's Johnny Depp, it's Tim Burton, so it falls in line with the Halloween week that we've got going on. So
It does. And like and subscribe before anything.
Oh yeah, right? Like and subscribe. Follow at Fashion Grunge Pod on Instagram. I'm gonna try to post more than once a day, but I'm trying to get all of the back issues that are up or back episodes that are up, all those pictures, and then I'll post more random shit. But yeah, it's pretty fun. It's kind of cool seeing Instagram from the other side, from like a brand new account.
I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Because you were like an early sort of Instagram,
early adopter.
Like, yeah, you got it as soon as he came out, right?
I think I got it in 2010.
Yeah, you see, I was a late boomer. I joined it. I think it was 2012.
Oh, that's still pretty early though.
2 years later than you.
Yeah, I think it was 2010 or like, I don't know, I guess I'd have to look at my first one. But yeah, I remember like the early ones. I remember that old icon, that old little Polaroid looking icon.
Oh yeah.
It was like brown. Yeah, it was kind of cool. Now it's just like a shit show. Now Instagram's like whatever. Still follow at Fashion Grunge and at Fashion Grunge Pod though, but because I know you're on it right now, probably as you're listening to this, you're probably scrolling on Instagram. I bet you half the people listening to this are on Instagram right now listening to it, which is super funny. I'm so stoked. Hey, I have to make a confession here. I have only seen this movie, I think, one other time aside from today.
Oh no!
Yeah,
wow,
I think when it first came out, like I remember when I was a kid and it first came out, and I thought it was really scary just because of the posters. And as a kid, I hated scary movies. I still kind of sort of do, but I like the slashers and stuff. But things that are very kind of, which is really strange that I don't like horror, like Hostel and all that kind of shit, or like Saw, but I'll watch like a true crime thing about like what actually happened, which is weird.
Kind of worse.
Yeah, which is definitely kind of worse. Definitely. Yeah, but it's not as gory though. Like I hate when they show you like gory imagery and stuff like that. Just I find that kind of gross.
Yeah, that's very surprising. That you've only watched it twice.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah,
I do like Johnny Depp quite a lot.
Yeah,
but yeah. Isn't that kind of weird? How many times have you seen it?
So many, honestly. Like I've seen this movie like I don't know. I mean, I don't think even like 20 times is an understatement. But because when I was little, I used to watch the same film over and over again.
Oh,
I was one of those weird kids that
I watched Clueless like that.
I just watched certain films like all the time. You know, sometimes four times in a weekend with my sister.
Oh wow!
Weird. We had to learn all the lines and like every scene, and I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Oh, that's cool. I don't think I watched a lot of Disney movies as a kid. Like I have an intense love for old Disney films.
Oh, well, like
Sleeping Beauty is my favorite. Sleeping Beauty and Alice in Wonderland and The Sword and the Stone are like my three.
Oh my god, I love that film too.
I just got Disney Plus, so I was like, Sword and the Stone, and I was like watching it the other day.
Cool. Those were really cool. I used to I loved all of those, like Snow White.
Yeah. Cinderella.
Obviously, Cinderella. I mean,
so good. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I love Alice in Wonderland. And I have to say, I do love Johnny Depp. I don't want to say I love Tim Burton. I like some Tim Burton films. I watched, I think, part of the new Alice in Wonderland, and I was like, no. I this is not this, and also Charlie and the Chocolate Factory I refuse to watch because I love the one from 1971 so much.
No, I know.
And I watched part of the new one and I was like, no. I was obsessed with Roald Dahl, like the author. So I read like all the books as a kid. And that Tim Burton one was like not the biz for me. Same with Alice in Wonderland, was not interested. I love the cartoon version from Disney. So those ones I'm not a fan of in Tim Burton world.
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely do love his work, but not all of it, you know. Like, but he's definitely made some of the most iconic sort of movies. Like,
so good.
I love Beetlejuice so much, as we talked in previous podcasts,
Yeah, that's another one I'm not incredibly familiar with because it's very odd. And I think when it came out, I was like, this looks scary. I don't want to watch it. So I think
Yeah.
I've seen bits, but I don't think I've fully seen it. I'm not a huge Michael Keaton fan either,
Well, I
I
like
have to
Michael
say.
Keaton back in the day, he was everywhere.
Batman.
Batman and like
Hmm.
Beetlejuice and all the films. I can't remember what else he was in, but yeah, it's just
Yeah.
80s.
It's super
I mean, I
80s.
know this is 1990,
90.
but
Yeah.
it feels kind of 80s to me still. Like,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
even though it's not set in the 80s, even, you know what I mean? It's funny
Hmm.
because it's meant to be 1950s, but so many elements are 80s.
Yeah, like all of the
Like all the hair
stereos.
and the haircuts,
Hmm.
you know?
They're so cool, though.
So cool.
They're
Yeah, I
so
mean,
cool and
it's
weird.
definitely one of my favorite films in that sort of genre. And he's got two of my favorite actors. I
Oh,
love,
Johnny and Winona.
yeah, and they were so cool. I remember just being like 10 or 11 and be like, I want to be like her. And I love what they have. He's just like a badass. And I was so young, but I could still tell that they were, sorry, really cool.
Wait,
um,
have they done another? Have they only done this one film together, or did they do?
yeah.
Yeah, right. They didn't
Hmm.
do anything else. Could you
Yeah.
imagine that movie? Did you see that movie Destination Wedding with Winona Ryder and Keanu Reeves? It was fucking hilarious.
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh! I think. Well, look for it somewhere. It was on Amazon. I think it's like an Amazon film.
Yeah, they could have dated. I don't know what happened.
They totally could have dated, and also they could have totally. I think it would have been so funny if they made that with Johnny Depp.
Well,
Well, because it just would have been so funny. He actually did. I told you, I think maybe in another podcast, he did a kind of film maybe like a year or two ago that was very normal. Like he played a professor
oh yeah,
who found out he
you
was
told me
terminal.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't like this character Johnny Depp that we know now that he does all these crazy things, but it was actually really good. Like I think a lot of people don't realize he can play a normal guy like pretty normally, and he's still super fucking hot as far as I'm concerned. I don't know. A lot of people think he looks weird and too much like Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm fucking into it. Love the hats, love the scarf. He did an awesome he didn't do an awesome, but he was in that court case for a while against Amber Heard.
Oh
So
yeah.
all the paparazzi were taking photos of him outside the court, and there's one look, oh my god, he had like a three-piece like navy pinstripe suit with this chain. It was very like
Oh yeah. I've
1930s, like
seen
oh,
photos of that. Yeah,
he
he
looks
looks
so
amazing.
good. Like I love his style even now, and the rings and tattoos. Like it just looks super
Yeah,
cool.
no, he's really cool. Yeah, I mean, I obviously rewatched this movie. Feeling happy because I love it, but it also makes me a little sad because I feel like they really were. I feel that they were the couple. I mean, I think he was cool when he was with K Moss, but I wish that they had ended up together.
I
Winona and Johnny
know.
Depp. And I was reading about their breakup and stuff, and apparently it was due to the fact that they had so much pressure from the media. The media just sort of became part of their lives, and it was just like too much to handle. They were like following them everywhere. They had no privacy,
Yeah.
and they were always in the tabloids. And apparently that's why it just got too much, which is crazy.
And that's back then. Could you imagine
Oh
now?
yeah, I know.
Like, oh gosh. I don't know how like any two young actors stay together. Like with
No.
all of the like press and like, oh, this and that. And people now everyone has camera phones. So if they see someone out with another person, they take a picture and it goes to
Mm.
gossip site. It's like it's crazy. It's so I don't get it. But then I guess there's also the other side where like why you would want to date someone who kind of knows what it's like, because I
It's
don't
in
know if I
that
could go
world.
out with anyone
Yeah.
really famous. I'd be like, I don't want this. Like, I just want to be normal. I don't want to. And then you'd be famous by association if they're that big. So it's
Yeah.
just crazy.
Yeah, it's sad that he even got her name tattooed and then got it changed.
Oh yeah, to Wino.
Wino.
It was like Winona and then it was Wino. I was like, oh, that's so crazy. But I think are they still like kind of like not friends, but I
I,
mean, I don't think it's like have they seen each other? Like
you
have we even
know,
seen them together?
I obviously don't know, but you, I feel like he looks like he moved on pretty quickly. You know, he was like
Who did he date after her?
Kate Moss.
Oh, right after Winona?
I think so.
Oh.
Um,
And then they had a really kind of crazy
yeah,
relationship too.
exactly.
Kate Moss did,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I feel that I remember reading like magazines when I was younger, where Winona Ryder would say like that. Kind of, she was depressed and she hit a really not rock bottom, but she was generally not doing. She was very affected by the breakup, and you
Oh.
know, like normally it does take longer for a woman to move on.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think she said that like he was her first
yeah,
everything, like first
exactly.
love,
First
like first
love.
everything. And
Yeah.
he'd been married already. He got married in the
Oh
80s
yeah,
and
that's
divorced. So like
right.
so he I mean, like, yeah, he was married from 83 to 86. So he was like, yeah, he'd already been married, even though he was really young, even though he was in his 20s, but still, like, yeah, he was 20 when he got married. That's crazy.
Oh
20
yeah,
to
sorry.
23. Yeah, it's so young. But yeah, that's so sad. But I think they're still somewhat friends because I know that Winona and Vanessa Paradis like gave statements in his court case,
Oh,
like
did they?
for
Oh,
him
that's
on his
right.
side. So that means that yeah, they're obviously like
Hmm.
somewhat, you know.
Oh, yeah.
He's a Gemini too,
Okay,
which is
so Winona Ryder and Johnny Depp dated from 89 to 93, and then Kate
oh,
Moss from
okay.
94 to 98.
Oh
And then
wow.
Vanessa Paradis is like 98 to 2012.
I know.
That's
And
like,
is that when he got with that Amber girl? Was it
yeah.
2012? It was like the
Mm-hmm.
same year or
Yeah.
13?
Mm-hmm. It was.
I still haven't seen that Rum Diaries movie because I'm just kind of upset that I know that he met her there
I
and I know it
know.
all kind
I've
of
seen that.
spiraled down
I
from
know.
there. So I was like, I don't know if I want to see that. So I liked Vanessa Paradis, Johnny Depp.
Oh, me too.
Then
I
it
mean,
just like, whoa.
he was just like a normal kind of guy, you know?
Yeah, with like two kids, like lives in France. Super cool.
I know.
But
So cool.
in any case, let's get to the film. Do you
Cool.
have any behind the scenes notes? I have a few. But yeah, what do you have?
I think we have the same, just like
Probably.
people who were considered for the role, which is really funny actually.
Oh, so weird.
Tom Cruise. I mean,
I do like Tom Cruise. We're not gonna get into his whatever is going on with him, but the only film I was just looking at is IMDb, and at first I was like, oh, Tom Cruise, what? But I also said the same thing about Tom Cruise being an Interview with a Vampire, as most people probably were. That's the only film, Interview with a Vampire, that he's played like a character.
hmm,
Everything else has been very like rooted in reality for him. So maybe he could have pulled off something, not Edward Scissorhands, but maybe something. He's never done anything like that except for Interview with the Vampire. It's the only one where he's like mythical or like supernatural and like doing things that aren't necessarily human. Like
hmm,
everything else is like he's a spy, he's a whatever, like he's a race car driver, he's like a fighter pilot, like it's all real. So
yeah.
maybe he
Well,
hasn't.
but remember I told you about that movie from
Oh,
like
that's right, Legend.
le- um I think so. Yeah, that's right. And it was an 80s film.
Does he play a supernatural character in
It's
it?
not the whole film is very it's like fantasy
Oh,
basically.
okay, okay.
So
I have to see this.
you had to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, unless there is a movie that he's done that maybe I'm missing something. I have not seen every single Tom Cruise film, but most of the things that he does are very like.
Yeah, I think you need to do like a Tom Cruise weekend where you just watch all the films that you haven't seen. Because remember that film that I told you about a while ago, Collateral?
Yeah,
It's
you
really
did.
cool too. Like, I'm just kind of amazed you haven't watched it.
Yeah,
So
no, I haven't.
I think we should do that. We should like use a weekend to watch all the films that we haven't seen of our favorite actors. Like, I have to say, it's probably about three movies that I haven't watched with Brad Pitt. Only three out of all of the
Oh,
films
I
he's
think I
done.
haven't seen a lot of Brad Pitt's.
No, I've seen all his films except for like three. Yeah.
Oh wow,
Um,
I'm trying to think if there are any actors that I've seen everything. I don't think there are. I think there are a lot of films that I definitely haven't seen all of Johnny Depp's. He's in a lot of really like I haven't seen all the Pirates, first of all. So
yeah,
like
and I
he's in a
want.
lot of really yeah, I'm not gonna watch all those, but there are a lot of I'm trying to think, I don't have any I have favorite actors, but I definitely haven't seen like a lot of Brad Pitt's. Like he did that 7 Years in Tibet. I haven't seen that. Um, I haven't seen Meet Joe Black. I've seen like scenes of it, but I'm not into that.
It's not a good movie, but he looks so beautiful.
Yeah, he has that short hair. He has the Jennifer Aniston haircut in that one, doesn't he? Was
Yeah,
that
that's when they
who?
used to like dress the same and look like
Yeah, or the
siblings.
Gwen. Is it maybe it's the Gwen haircut?
They
Because
he
she
did
had
that with
hair like
all his
that.
partners, said Angelina. But like there was a time when him and I Jennifer Aniston,
Jen.
Jen, my mate Jen, yeah, they look like siblings, you know.
Same with Gwyneth though too.
Same, yeah,
Yeah, when she had that short hair, he did too.
and
Juliette Lewis, no. They look like
no, they look different. But when he was with her, he dressed differently too. He's very grungy and like,
yeah.
yeah,
He looks.
very
I think
cool.
he looked the best when he was with Juliette. I think if I have to pick an era of Brad Pitt, that's my favorite era. The like Legends of the Fall era, the Interview with the Vampire era, where he has long hair.
Uh,
I think I like that Brad Pitt. Although I do like Fight Club Brad Pitt. Let's not
oh,
discount.
I
Let's
mean,
not discount
I
that
just want
one.
to say that I like Brad. If you're listening to this podcast, it just you're perfect in every movie, every haircut, everything. Yes. So
I was watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith bloopers because it came up on my YouTube, like recommended, like what you would like. I was like, yes, I would totally like this. And I watched it and I was like, I can't. This is 2 minutes. It's only 2 minutes long. And I was like, I just can't handle how this chemistry is insanity. Like, just even their bloopers and them laughing with each other. I was like, God, this is like, wow, this is crazy. Yeah, it was just so nuts. So I was like, thank you, YouTube, for making a good algorithm because I did want to watch that video. I did enjoy it. So that's pretty good. Oh yeah, what other behind the scenes notes we're gonna be
just like not really anything interesting besides like Tom Cruise, Jim Carrey, and Robert Downey Jr. Were considered or audition. But that funny one that I found actually was like Macaulay Culkin was considered for the role of Kevin.
Oh, really?
I know, but apparently he couldn't because he was doing Home Alone.
When he played Kevin in that too.
Oh yeah, he played Kevin. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Which obviously was a life changer for him because that
yeah.
movie made him super famous. You know?
Super famous.
Yeah.
We're getting close to the time where we have to announce the more current from the 2000s and today film for November. I really want to do Party Monster because I love
Oh
Party
yeah, I like
Monster.
that film too.
So that one's
That.
super cool. So that one's on the short list. I think I have like two or three to pick from. So November 1st, I'm gonna put it up on Instagram. So get excited to
Cool.
find out what that is gonna be. I have that it was a $20 million budget and made 86 million. So it made
That's amazing.
yeah, it made pretty good money,
Wow,
which
that's
is
really
super
cool.
cool. And it was
Yeah,
filmed in Florida,
I know
in Lutz, Florida, which is
how
cool.
insane. Yeah, I found loads about that, but I thought we'll talk about it when we
Oh, when we get there.
cover like fashion and mood. But yeah, the set is obviously fucking amazing.
So cool.
Yeah, I found that this film was intended to be a musical.
Really?
Yeah, but then he obviously changed his mind, but ended up doing The Nightmare Before Christmas and The Corpse Bride as musicals. But
And Sweeney Todd. But that was already done though. That wasn't like a original story.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess he just saw he wanted to make a musical. But since he changed his mind about this one, then he pursued that after, like in
Oh.
'93. And what else? I found that to prepare for his role, Johnny Depp watched the films, watched silent films,
Oh, you
and
can tell.
Charles Chaplin, a lot of his movies actually, to get an idea how to express um, emotion with that dialogue, and he did a really good job. I mean,
He's incredible. His
this film
eyes are incredible. Even now. He really acts with his
really, yeah,
eyes.
exactly. It has so many funny moments. So
Hmm.
I laugh so much every time I watch it. It's
Yeah,
just
it's really
his
funny.
face when like when oh my gosh, what's her name? Peg is applying makeup on him.
Oh,
It's
I
fucking
know.
hilarious, you know.
Have you ever seen Benny and June?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you should watch it. It's so good. It's like it's Johnny, I think it must be 93, and Johnny Depp is like a weird kind of guy who falls in love with this girl who has like she has mental issues, maybe like developmental issues too. And they kind of like take him in. It's almost like this film a little bit. They take him in, but he's very like I don't know how to describe him. Like he speaks, but he doesn't speak that much, but he's obsessed with Buster Keaton, and he even wears the hat, and he does so much like you can tell like it's very much like Edward Scissorhands. He doesn't talk a lot, he uses his eyes a lot, he does a lot of routines, and he's just really funny, but it's like a love story. It's like a very like uncommon love
You
story.
know, that sounds familiar. I
It's
wonder
really
if I watched
good.
it when I was
You
young.
might have, yeah. It's like a random Julianne Moore's in it, Aidan
Oh,
Quinn is in it, and Mary Stuart Masterson is the girl.
okay.
That his,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
it does
good.
sound familiar.
But yeah, it's very much like that. Like he did watch Buster Keaton films. Very much like he probably had that training from doing Edward Scissorhands.
Oh,
That he
that's
knew
cool.
how to
Yeah,
do that.
definitely. I think I'd like to watch it again.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's super cool.
Do you have any cool stuff?
I have this is from an original story that Tim Burton wrote about growing up in the suburbs of Burbank, California,
Mm,
and how he felt very isolated and like unable to connect with people. And it's and newsflash, people that are kind of like socially awkward and in that growing up usually have incredible imaginations
they
and
do.
can't
Yeah.
relate to like just a average person because they just probably don't understand them. And this was the first collaboration between Johnny Depp and Tim Burton, which is now like a whole like movie. You could do a whole movie saga of like relationships of actors and directors. Like we could talk about. We should probably do. I'd be interesting to do an episode of like some of the like touch on some of the films that have a lot of the same directors. Like David Fincher's work with Brad Pitt a lot,
Oh
and
yeah.
Scorsese's worked with De Niro and Leo quite a lot. And then this relationship, Tim Burton, Kirsten Dunst has worked with Sofia Coppola quite a lot. So like it'd be interesting to explore that and to kind of see that whole vibe, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we should try to do that. I think
Yeah,
it'll be
like as a
quite
bonus
interesting.
or something. Yeah, maybe around the holidays or something. Maybe we can do a bonus for that. And yeah, Tom Hanks and Gary Oldman, I think, declined or they were approached but didn't do it.
Oh really?
Yeah, which is so strange. And Drew Barrymore auditioned for the role of Kim.
Oh yeah, I did find that. I don't know why I don't
Yeah,
have it in here, but yeah,
yeah,
that's
which is pretty cool. That's about all I have for behind the scenes. There is a lot of behind the scenes if you want to know more about the story. There's tons of things on the internet on YouTube that you can check out and see Tim Burton talk about it, which is cool because we just saw Tim Burton in Singles.
I
There's a little
know.
cameo, so now we get to like roll in and talk about his film.
Yeah.
It's so cool. So we start off seeing I wrote Winona Grammy, and she's like an old woman and she's telling this story. So we're going back in time. I love that bedroom that the little kid's in.
I know. The
So
whole thing,
cool.
it's so
Yeah,
cute.
the whole yeah, I mean we could talk about every single interior in this whole shebang, which has to be what most of the budget was for. 20 million's
Oh yeah,
gotta be building out
for
all of this
sure.
stuff.
All the
Yeah.
sets and the the costumes and stuff.
Yeah, it's super cool. So then we get like a bit of a backstory, which you get throughout the film, which is cool, played by Vincent Price, who's the inventor, who's, one of the most like iconic horror actors, or like just even actors in general. But this I think was going to be his last part. So I think it was written for him.
Oh
And
yeah, because he was quite sickly actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And he has that amazing voice, the one in the Michael Jackson Thriller song, if you know that. That whole interlude is Vincent Price. The pastel neighborhood, I love when you kind of like see this pastel neighborhood. It reminds me I was talking to you about it, but it reminds me very much of that new film Vivarium that
Oh
came
yeah,
out.
you did.
Yeah, like it looks like this kind of a suburb, like everything's the same and uniform. So people definitely have taken, I think, a lot from this, just the whole vibe, the whole background and everything. I feel like I've
For
seen
sure.
before. Yeah. Just super cool. I love the interiors. Like I love how you just see all of these different random colored houses, like pastel.
I love that so much. I
You
don't
would have a
think
pink house.
I would for sure. Matthew would want to live in the green house for sure. But yeah, um, I just love the set. I love everything about it. I love how the castle is right at the end of the neighbor. Well, kind of not the end of the neighborhood, but sort of,
Yeah.
right next to it. And I love the contrast of like all those cool colors and like everyone is wearing like everything is clashing but not clashing. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
greenhouses, bright blue sky, yellow outfits. Oh, it's just so cool. It's very like Wes Anderson,
Oh God.
but it is.
Yeah, I know.
Whether obviously
Someone asked, "Are you going to be doing Royal Tenenbaums?" No, it
no,
will not cover any Wes
because
Anderson.
Lauren doesn't like it. So
Nope. I don't even think I could get. I don't think I could even get through an episode. I have me and Charles both have a huge distaste for. We actually bond over our more like hatred for things as well as things that we love. Like we hate a lot of the same things, which is why we've probably been friends for so long. We also hate Michael Phelps and a whole host of other things that we just don't like. So Wes Anderson's up there. But yeah, well, Wes Anderson, I would think, is very influenced by Tim Burton
for
because he
sure,
came along
Tim
first.
Burton came up. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, I know. But what I'm saying is like it is kind of like similar, whether
Yeah,
he
that kitschy
obviously,
vibe.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I love how Winona Ryder looks. I love her in that wig with like these sort of outfits, which actually I read about. She did not feel comfortable filming wearing those clothes. She
You can
felt
kind
like
of tell
she was kind of like genuinely not struggling to get into character because she felt really uncomfortable because it's totally against like
what she
her.
would wear.
Yeah, she wears like men's clothes, baggy jeans, very like grungy stuff, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden she's really well put together. Apparently, Tim Burton said that she just felt so awkward and she found it really difficult to get into, you know, not
Yeah.
character, but just to feel,
Like comfortable in it.
yeah.
Which is, I don't even know how Johnny Depp trained for this.
He
Like with,
lost 25 pounds.
whoa, he's already small.
But
Like he's not a big
look
guy.
at the scenes where he's wearing the black, all black.
He's so
He's
thin.
so thin,
Yeah, when you see him from the side, yeah, he's like a doll.
hmm
Like he's so thin. But even just the hands, even just the like I wonder, I mean I'm sure this is probably answered and I guess we should have done like a bigger deep dive, but I wonder how long he trained just with wearing those like anatomical hands. Like
hmm
just to be somewhat comfortable. But obviously you're not going to be completely comfortable, but just even somewhat. It's just so weird. I love
I
his
know.
hair too.
Because, well, oh yeah, which I did have all these notes and I don't know where they went, but yeah, the inspiration for his look was inspired by The Cure, obviously.
From who?
The Cure,
Oh, Robert Smith?
hmm
Oh,
which is
yeah.
super. You obviously
Oh,
are like,
now I
oh
can see it.
yeah, I
Yeah, I
can
wasn't
see it.
thinking of it. Yeah, originally, but yeah. Oh, that's true. I also have to say shout out to any of my gamer friends. PS3, and it's an iconic game. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. One of the levels is the suburbs, and it's literally
The
like the
suburbs.
neighborhood. Yeah, it is, and it's like there's a gothic castle that you have to skate in, and it's right on the edge of
Oh,
the
that's so
suburbs.
cool.
Yeah, so it's literally, I'm assuming, pretty much taken from this film, which is cool. Tony Hawk has a new game out. I really want the new PS5 to
Yeah,
play
I
that.
can't relate to that in
I was
any
gonna
way.
say, any of my gamer friends out there. So we meet what's her name? Peg. Peg's the mom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Peg is the mom, Joyce is the crazy neighbor. And she's an Avon lady going door to door and selling all these like selling all the different Avon stuff. I was gonna ask you, did you have this growing up? Did you have like
Yes,
door to door
100%.
salesman, Mary
We had
Kay?
two companies. That was like obviously so it's just funny being a kid and then be like the ladies knocking on your door selling Avon products. But also there was another one. I don't know, I can't remember the name, but it was basically like Tupperwares, like
Oh
different
yeah.
sets. But I can't it was American company, but I can't remember the name. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, they had Tupperware parties. It was just called Tupperware. I don't know. It was another name. Is there another
Yeah.
name?
Well, we had so much of that growing up because my mom was
Yeah.
obsessed with that. They were kind of cute. in
Yeah,
like
they were
yellow and
cool.
red. And
Yeah, they were kind of cool. I think it was one of those like, isn't it kind of like a pyramid thing? Like you get other
yeah,
people to sell, or you get a percent, or something
I
like
think
that.
so. I'm not, don't really remember,
Yeah,
but
it's one of those kind of things.
I love. I mean, it's fine. You're gonna get into that, but that's like literally one of my favorite scenes. I love Peg saying, "Hello, I'm Peg. I'm your local able representative."
I know, it's so funny. I love when she goes to Joyce's house and she's like, "Don't you see there's a truck in the driveway? That means I'm with someone. Leave me
Oh
alone."
yeah.
The
She's just,
plumber, she's
oh
like
my
flirting
god, it's
with.
just so funny. She's adorable. I love that actress.
Yeah, is it Kathy Baker? Is that her name?
Uh,
I think it's Kathy
mm,
Baker. Let me
no,
see.
no,
Yeah, it is.
I meant Peg. It's
Oh,
Diane.
Diane Wiest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, she's
love
really
her.
good.
She's cool.
She's really good. I like her. She's really good in Hannah and Her Sisters. Have you seen that?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, she's really good in that. I think she might have the Oscar for that, possibly, or she was nominated, I think. Yeah, I really like her too. She's really good. And then okay, yeah. You did have it growing up. I think I did. I mean, we had it growing up, but I lived in an apartment, so I never like no one ever came to our
Oh,
door. Like it wasn't that situation. But we had them. Like I knew there was Mary Kay was another company we had that was like makeup and Avon and everything, which I think they still have.
do they?
I think it's like probably online now. I'm sure there's like a different
Oh,
system, but
how
I think they
funny.
still I'm pretty sure they still have it. So I love when she's going door to door and then she's like, running around. I wrote the Gothic castle is totally where I picture Johnny Depp actually lived, like in real life. I would picture he would live in a place like this. And I don't know why she goes in there, but she's just weird. And she's like, oh, I guess I'll go in there. Like no one's bought anything yet. And she just like wanders in the house. And I love when you see the garden outside and it says all these like shrubbery sculptures. And like
Beautiful.
and it
Yeah.
looks so scary from the outside, but once you go into the gate, it's all like flowers and it looks really cool. And then she goes in there and then I love when she finds Edward like in the corner and he's
Yeah.
just like crouched in the corner and then she's like, "Oh no, come out. Like I'm not going to hurt you." And then I was just like, "Oh my gosh, he looks so like it's just his eyes. He just really has the most. I don't even know another actor that has those kind of eyes.
I know,
Those
he does.
expressive eyes and
I
they're
also love that
so
they're
big."
brown, you
Yeah,
know?
mhm. And they're so like they look like so inquisitive. Like he just has I don't know what it is. I'm trying to think of even other actors, like even like Heath Ledger. You know who has really expressive eyes? Jake Gyllenhaal,
Oh, he
because
does
he has
too.
big
Yeah,
eyes. I think when you have
amazing.
bigger eyes, then you
Yeah.
can really like. And Donnie Darko,
He's another
very.
one that I adore. I just
I
love him.
love Jake Gyllenhaal. I
I
think
love
he's.
him.
I think he's so. I don't want to say underrated,
No, yeah, I totally agree
because I
with
think a lot of
you.
people like him, but I think he's like, I think people kind of forget about him if when they see him, they're like, oh yeah, he is really good. Oh, Elijah Wood, another expressive eyes,
Mhm.
big round eyes, looks like a fucking 7-year-old, like to
He
this
was
day.
also another one that was like just around, not around, but what growing up, he was like
Yeah, he was a
so
big
big.
deal.
I remember I used to have the biggest crush on him growing up.
Hmm.
I love him.
And we were
He's
talking about Sleepy Hollow, another one. I'm just trying to think now all these actors. Christina Ricci also has very big round eyes, and
Mhm.
it was so great to pair them together. I think in
Keanu Reeves.
uh yes, they're not as big and round, but he has pretty
They're
expressive eyes.
I think so.
Yeah, he has pretty expressive eyes, like funny. Like I'm trying to think of someone who can be kind of funny. He does. And Winona, she has really
You
big
know
expressive
who?
eyes too. Who?
That actor that you love. Oh my gosh, I always forget his first name.
Who?
Brody, he's like
Oh, Adrian Brody. Oh my.
right.
Oh,
He has
he
he
is
has
so hot.
incredibly like sad eyes.
He does have sad eyes.
Yeah.
He looks like a bird, but I think it's so hot. I love him. I loved him in Peaky Blinders. If you haven't watched Peaky Blinders, for some reason I cannot get any
So
of my friends.
good.
You've already seen it, so this doesn't
It's
count. But
got to
any of
be
my
like a
friends,
cultural thing. I feel
I
like it's
don't
hard
get
for a
it.
lot of people to
It's
get it. People,
good.
I know. I try to like get people I know here to watch, and they're like, "Oh no, I don't understand half of what they're saying." I'm like,
Oh my
"Okay."
god, Killian Murphy. He's got the eyes.
Oh my god, he's got everything.
Yeah, he does. He has the
Another babe. He's
chiseled
just so
face too.
perfect. I could talk about his face all day long.
Yeah, it really helps to be completely perfect looking to star star in movies, I guess, which is so funny. Okay, so I said like Johnny Depp's eyes, and then she's like, come home with me." So I love how she takes him home. I was like, this whole area and the interiors are just like a mid-century pastel dream.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very like 60s vibes, but also 80s because they have like tape players and stuff. They have like cassette players and stuff. So it's still kind of current, but their cars are all kind of old,
Yeah.
somewhat. Yeah. I love the gossipy neighbors. Like as soon as she's driving, like with him in the car, all the women are like, oh, "We see her. She's in the car with some guy," and they all like are on the phone, like talking. And another very '90s moment, just to be like ringing up your neighbors, like on the phone. You're all talking like back and forth. Oh, that probably
Yeah, but
happens
also I
now.
think that's very like suburban life in
Yeah.
America. Like people are very nosy because there's not
Hmm.
much going on, and everyone's just like watching what other people are doing, you know?
And all the husbands are gone
Yeah,
at the
and they have
same time.
barbecues and stuff. That's
Yeah, that's true. So I love when she brings him home and she's just like showing him around. And I love the moment where he just sees all the photos of Kim
oh yeah, he's
and
in
she's not
love with
there. Yeah, and
her.
she's not there. She's like, "Oh yeah, she'll be back. Like she's with her friend." And then he's just like looking and he's like, I was like, "Oh, I love it." And then we get that really funny scene where she's like, "Let me hide those scars." And she's like putting spackle like on his face. And it's just like so bad.
Oh
I
my
wrote, "This is
god.
like looking at Edward, like looking is like me when I put on makeup." That's like
Oh.
I like don't wear makeup hardly at all. And it's just like that's how I feel in makeup, just very uncomfortable and just like uh, I think I've gotten my makeup done once at a makeup counter and it was like probably the worst experience of my life. I was like, I don't like this. I'm not gonna wear this. And all my friends were like, "Whoa, you look crazy." I was like, "See, I'm taking it off," and I like took it off.
Well,
So,
no, I think it's just because you're not used to it, and also your friends aren't used to see you
yeah,
with
I know.
makeup.
It's
But
just it's so weird. I felt very, very relatable to Edward. I was like, "Yay, this is how I feel." It's just so weird. And then we have that neighborhood barbecue, like you were saying, super suburban American trope. I love where they're all feeding him, and they all are
oh
like, "No, try this.
gosh,
Try my ambrosia salad. Try this.
I
Try
know it's
that."
a miracle he doesn't puke then,
I
but
know.
that's later.
That's so crazy. Yeah, that's later. So then Kim comes home early with her from her camping trip, and that's another '90s moment was that flame paint job on that van that like zips around. That was such an '80s '90s
Oh, it
thing.
was, it
Yeah, it
was.
was so funny. That's a creepy van too. It's like a weirdo van. Like those
Hmm.
are like the weird, super weird ones. And I love how he's in the bed and it's a water bed, another '90s thing. And
Yeah,
like,
what was up with that? Why did people
was that a thing
like?
in England
Um,
or in Mexico?
I don't know. I don't remember. I only know that I it was a lot in movies, like in American movies, but I don't know if it was just like an American phenomenon.
Probably. I think I sat on a waterbed twice. Like I knew two people that had a waterbed. It wasn't like a thing. Like and it was like I think one time I was at a house party or something or like a birthday party or something. Like it wasn't anyone that I knew and I was like, "Whoa, a waterbed." But apparently it's just a bitch, which you would think it would definitely burst at some point. Like just in life, like how long do they last? Do you have to get new ones? If you had a waterbed, let us
Yeah,
know. What are the situations with those? Do they still have them? Maybe someone out there still has one. They're probably good for
mm,
your back, I think. I
maybe.
think that was like the thing, but it just seems crazy and like I would be sick. I'd be like seasick sleeping on one. But it's funny how he punches it and then he puts the stuffed animal like over it. Which is also kind of funny too because he dies in Nightmare on Elm Street like through the bed,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. I really love his outfits in Nightmare on Elm Street, specifically the cropped varsity football.
I
I love
know.
that '80s thing when guys would wear that and like the
Me
short
too.
shorts and like
That
the
was
high
hot.
socks. Yeah, it was super hot. I love that. So I thought that was kind of funny that he had that. So yeah, she comes home. I love when she comes home and then she like sees him in her bed through the mirror and she's like, "Ah, oh my god!" I would definitely be freaked out. I just thought it was really funny. Another '90s moment is that she couldn't call home to say she was coming home early, and the fact that they couldn't tell her. ahead of time, so it was totally like, oh god, I don't know what's going on.
It's so funny just watching just him, his body language, how he's getting to bed and he's pulling the cover like higher and higher above his head, like,
Hmm.
and then she freaks out. It's just too funny.
This is
I
so
genuinely
funny.
laughed out loud, you know.
And then we get the dad who's Alan Arkin, who's so funny. We get him in the basement drinking with him, where he's like, "Here, let's have some lemonade," and then he gives him that straw, and he just like slurps it all up. I happen to love this outfit where it's like he has that red robe on and like green pajamas, like
Oh
when he's
yeah,
downstairs. I think it looks so cool. I love
that
his
is cool.
hair. Like his hair is very Sweeney Todd,
It is,
like
yeah.
very like fucked up Mozart or like Beethoven, like just fucking crazy, but it's like all short and weird and like hairsprayed, not spiky, just like hairsprayed. Is that his real hair? Probably, right?
I
Do you
don't
think?
know, but he did have longish hair back then, so
Yeah,
probably
I'm wondering. Yeah, I think it is. And apparently he was Johnny Depp wanted to do this film because he wanted to break out of that like teen idol trope that he got from being on
from
21 Jump
yeah.
Street.
Hmm.
Have you ever seen 21 Jump Street?
I have.
Oh yeah, it's cool. It's really weird that he's like in a. It's so funny that that's like his thing. Have you seen all of it, or I've just seen a few episodes? I haven't like watched the whole thing.
Yeah, again, I watched it when I was little.
Oh,
I
the whole
was like,
thing.
yeah,
Oh wow. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
we had it. We had access to it.
Oh, it's neat. Yeah, I mean it is kind of a cool show. It's kind of funny watching it now though. It's like so 80s. That's
I
really
know.
funny.
80s. Oh my god, the 80s were so great.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're pretty
They were. I
weird.
feel so happy that I was a kid in the 80s. Like, I don't think I would have liked to be a kid in the 50s or 40s or any of like,
No.
not even in the 60s, because you kind of want to be an adolescent in the 60s, not a kid, you know?
Yeah, totally.
But
I think I'd want to be a teenager in the 80s too. I think that would have been kind of cool.
yeah,
Like to
yeah.
wear all those like really crazy like taffeta prom dresses and like big hair.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I just wore like biker shorts and like lame shirts and like pigtails like but I definitely like lots of biker shorts and like overalls and like weird stuff
I
like that.
love those. We had like these overalls too, like denim ones. And my
Mhm.
dad got those fluorescent belts.
Oh,
And it was
cool.
just like, I know, so cool.
Like
Side ponytail, which I still
yeah, I
do.
know I was going to say you still do that. That's super funny.
I'm still really influenced by that time. So
Yeah, the neon is pretty cool. Was neon like late 80s and that was more into the 90s?
yeah, it was. It was
Yeah.
like pink, fluorescent pink, yellow, green.
Yeah, that was super cool.
Hmm.
Then I love when the kid takes what the little brother takes him to
To the
school
school.
for show and tell and he cuts the paper dolls. And they're like, "Yay!" I love how no one's scared of him too. I love how they're kind of more intrigued than scared. And
Yeah.
then the mom is just really like she's so sweet and super caring, you know? Like she just took him home. She's not like, "Oh, he's that weird freak or anything." I mean, some people think he's a freak, but they're fucking lame and they end up
No,
dying,
she's
thank
just such
God.
a good person. And
Yeah. And the dad is cool too. Like you would
I
think the
know,
dad would be like, "No, what's going on here?"
but
But he's
he's just
cool.
like such a like typical dad from that time. It's kind of like did I don't know, just kind of like didn't say much. Didn't He just went along with whatever, you know, like
Yeah.
but he was funny how he was like, so tell us, Eddie. He used to call him Ed or Eddie. And
Mhm.
like it's funny because you don't yeah, I mean, he doesn't look like an Eddie, you know?
No.
And like how he's like, what's your next adventure? What are you planning for the future? It's just funny how he
Yeah.
talks to him. And yeah, I love it when he's trying to eat dinner and he can't
Oh
do it.
yeah.
And then he's so close to eat a pea, and then he just, and then he's like, okay, I need to figure out a way, and then he and stops using the his fingers as like sticks,
Yeah. That's
but it's
super
just too
cool.
funny. That whole sequence is just hilarious.
And then he grabs like the I think it's like potato, like he stabs the
Yeah,
potato
he
or
stabs a
something.
potato and he's like,
Yeah,
okay.
and then she's like, "Do you want any butter for your bread?" And he like slices it off and like puts it on there. I was like,
But
"Oh
it looks
my god."
so good. Bear in mind, this is way before special effects or digital anything. So he actually had to do all those moves with those hands, as you
Yeah.
said. And it's like
Yeah.
quite hard, to be able to act and focus on like your lines, like whatever it is that you need to do, and move accordingly, and like nail it
Hard.
every move,
Yeah.
basically.
Kudos to Johnny Depp. He should have gotten like an Oscar nomination for this.
He was nominated for some.
For
I
this?
think it was like Golden Glove or something. He
Oh, for
definitely was
something
nominated,
else?
but it wasn't an Oscar. But he was nominated and Winona Ryder as well. Let
Oh,
me
okay.
see.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool. I was
Golden
gonna
Globe.
say.
He was nominated for a
He's
Golden Globe.
57, guys.
He
Johnny
looks
Depp is
great.
57, and so is Brad Pitt. I'm excited about aging because these people look good. Like,
Yeah, but these people also have a ton of money and they can do whatever they want.
Johnny Depp
So
drinks a lot of wine. I don't think he's not like Brad Pitt shape. He's not like Brad
no,
Pitt's
no,
like
he's never.
working out. Like,
Yeah.
Johnny Depp
Hmm.
still looks pretty good for like all this stuff that he's been up to. Fear and Loathing, another great episode that you should check out because that movie is fucking great. Yeah, so from all the stuff he's been doing, he looks pretty good. He was nominated for a Golden Globe, yeah, for
But
that.
that's it. He didn't win it.
No, I think he's only won for like Sweeney Todd, which I love. I know you
Oh
don't like.
yeah, I
I know
love
you
that
don't
film
like.
too.
You know, I thought you didn't like musicals,
No, I don't, but I like that
but you
one.
like
I
that
mean,
one,
you
yeah.
you have Helena Bonham Carter
I
and
know his
him
like
and
kind of now Winona, like his grown up Winona, like
totally.
totally. She has another expressive eyes too. She has those
She
big,
does. And
big
they're
brown
brown.
eyes.
Brown
Yep.
eyes rock.
Yeah, totally. Yay. Brown Eyed Squad. Okay, so then I love when he does like all the gardening around the neighborhood and the dad's like, "So, how are you going to get paid from all this? Like, you're not just going to do this for free. You can't live off of like cookies because someone's like, "Oh, but he
Oh
made cookies."
my god. Sorry, can I repeat that line? Because I fucking love it
Oh
so
yeah,
much.
what is it?
Yeah, it's like she said something like, "Oh yeah, like cookies," and he's like, "Sweetheart, you can't buy the necessities of life with cookies."
I beg
This
to
is
differ.
so funny.
So funny. If someone gave me great cookies, I would be excited.
I know. She's just like so sweet. She's like a little bit like how I used to be, like in Marshmallow World. Like she's just very kind, very naive. She just
Hmm.
thinks everyone is lovely,
You said how you used to be?
I kind of used to be like
Wow,
that.
you've lived in America too long. Everyone's fucking
No,
shady.
I mean, I'm not like that, but complete like I'm still a little bit like that. I guess I can be quite. I assume the best out of people, not the worst. But
Yeah, I wish I was a bit more like that. I think I'm like a really cynical and very like super skeptical about everything. Like
mm,
I don't believe hardly anything. I mean I do, but I don't I'm not like a just casual like, "Oh yeah, this could happen." I'm always very like, "No. That's not true." Like I'm just like I guess it's I don't know, probably my parents are very much like that. Like they're very much like book people, like teachers and stuff. So they're very much
mm,
like proving things and kind of like make sure you look at all sides and like decide if it's true or could this really happen. But yeah, I wish I was a bit more naive, I think. I think it's just growing up in this fucking crazy
I think it
society
is
now.
definitely growing up in the US because I know a lot of Americans who are the same. They just it's part of growing up here, I guess.
And I'm in a city. I'm sure maybe if I grew up in a
In the
smaller town,
suburbs. Yeah,
yeah, or a
exactly.
suburb, yeah, I might be more like a bit more, just trusting and, not so skeptical of people. But I think growing up in a city, it's kind of like everyone's trying to sham you, trying to rob you, trying to do all this shit. So you're always like looking 5 steps ahead, like to not get
Yeah,
scammed.
no, I definitely don't think that, but I was way more like, or like, oh, the world is just a perfect place, like I
Oh
used to
yeah.
be more like that. All my friends were like, okay, you need to get a grip because not everyone is good, and like you can't be that naive and like get into cars with like strangers
Oh
and stuff.
yeah, yeah, definitely not.
Which obviously I did many times,
Oh my
and
gosh.
but yeah, I mean nothing bad has happened, and
Yeah, I mean that's good. That's super good. But not in America though. You haven't gotten into strange cars in America.
Oh, I would never do
Yeah,
that.
this is
I've
like
I've seen
yeah.
way too many American films and documentaries about cults and like serial killers. I would not be doing
Yeah.
that. But in other countries, I definitely feel differently.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that and understand that for sure. I mean, we people used to hitchhike here, I think up until probably the 70s. I want to
Hmm.
say is when people like it became like probably Bundy really change
Oh yeah, he
turn the
killed.
tide.
Yeah, fire.
Yeah, because it was like you could now that they found someone like that, you couldn't just trust
I
anyone
know
because that
they
guy never
kind
one
of
ever
ruined.
thought. Hmm.
Well, him and Manson really ruined the whole
Yeah.
hippie mindset of like love and peace and be kind with to one another and all of that,
Yeah, totally.
which is very sad because you went from one extreme to the other, pretty much.
Hmm. Yeah,
Sad.
totally. So then after he's been doing his gardening, he's starting to cut dog's hair. I love when everyone has their dog in line.
No, he cuts women's hair and then dog's hair, right?
No, dogs first.
Oh, he does?
Yeah,
Oh,
and then he's
okay.
cutting Joyce's dog's hair, and then she's like, "Have you ever cut a woman's hair?"
Oh, that's right.
And then he's like, and then she's like, "Cut my hair."
Oh,
And then she has this
God.
super weird. I was like, "Why are the women all so aroused by him?"
She's having a moment
She
right there
really
in
is
the
having
chair.
a moment.
She's like, oh, oh. I'm like, oh my God.
I was like, "What do you think he can do with these scissors? They're blades."
I know.
Like, I mean, I don't understand the appeal of this. They're not like insanely long fingers, like regular fingers. They're like fucking blades. Like, I don't get why that's arousing. It's probably just because it's Johnny Depp, maybe because he's just weird and different, and she's obviously starved for like mad male attention. But
Yeah.
then
I
she's
think she's just
married, right? Or is
desperate.
she single?
I don't
I think she's married.
I don't think so, because she's always alone, talking to
She
friends.
She is, but I know that when that plumber was in the house and she said something and he was like, he just looked at her and she's like, a lot of people don't think that housewives get lonely, but like we get lonely through the day. So I was
Oh,
like,
I guess.
oh, well, does she
That's
have a
right.
husband? And she just like is flirting with him because like, yeah, he's gone all day. He's gone like all day long. So I guess, but yeah, you never really see her with a guy. Even like
Mm.
again, you never see her with a guy. So I wrote, I love all of the haircuts he gives them. They look like cartoon characters. Like all the little haircuts they're just so funny. And then another one of my favorite heartbreaking scenes is when her name's Conchata Farrell in real life. She just recently died, I think a few weeks ago.
Oh,
Yeah, with
really?
the red hair. She like one of the neighbors, she takes him to get his scissors sharpened
Oh, that's right.
and he sees Kim and her boyfriend and he sees him like holding her and the way he like looks and like knows that he can't do that and he just like looks really sad that he can't do that. I was like, oh, that's really sad. I also love the bit when he goes in that talk show.
Oh, I know. And then they ask him about if you found love or you met someone special or something.
Hmm. And then he just like looks out into the camera and like Kim is watching it with her boyfriend who's a fucking asshole. It's just really funny too that his name is Jim because that's what Jim is the name of Hopper in Stranger Things.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
I find really funny. But she calls him Hopper. I don't think you really hear
Yeah,
Jim.
she does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jim too much. But yeah, I love how they like look at each other through the screen, through the TV screen. I love that moment. Another really funny account is when Peg is like showing him her new salon. And she's like, look, this is my new salon. You can be set up right here. We're gonna have this. We're gonna have a makeup counter over here. Let me show you the back. I was like, oh no.
Oh my gosh. She's so fucking mental.
She's so insane.
And she like sits him down and then like sits on top of him and like exposes her bottom.
Well, she like takes his blade and like she's
Oh
like, I've been
yeah.
waiting for this moment. And then she like
It was
takes
very
the blade,
dramatic,
yeah,
yeah.
and, like cuts the thing open and it opens I love the next scene you see and she's just like, oh my god. And then the next scene you see, he's just like running out, like he looks all like just the way he's walking, just looks like he's like very violated. It just looks like really uncomfortable. It just like runs out. I think it's so funny. Then oh god, Kim's boyfriend can like suck a fuck. I can't
He
stand this
is
guy.
awful. I fucking
So
hate him.
awful.
He's terrible.
He's Anthony Michael Hall, I believe, as the actor. And then he convinces because he's really rich apparently, even though he lives in the same goddamn neighborhood that everyone else does. But I guess the dad like bought all this crazy shit. Like so he has this room that he locks up and has all this electronics and whatever. It's a super cool room with that sunken couch, that like
Yeah.
60s couch that's on the floor, which is really cool. But he convinces Kim to try to get Edward to break into the house because he can pick locks with his knives and steal all the stuff in the dad's room so they can sell it and get a van so they could bang in it. Dude, shut the fuck up. Like,
But also, Kim was really bad up to that point. She was
yeah, she was.
one of
Mhm.
those kids that makes fun of people who are different to her.
Yeah.
She's kind of like popular, really pretty, dating like the most popular boy in school or whatever, and she looks down at Edward.
Yeah, she does. Even when
So
he was like cutting the steak, remember, and he like drops it in her lap.
yeah,
She's like,
I know.
I'm sorry. And she's like, it's fine. I'll clean it up. I was like, oh God. It's hard for her to be mean because she just looks so nice.
I know,
She
it's
looks like
true.
a nice person.
She looks so pretty. I can't get over how pretty she was.
I know. I feel
It
like
still
it'd be
is actually.
cool
She
if
looks
she had
really good.
the black hair. But I guess it for contrast, it probably looks better that she's blonde.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be cool if she had the, but then she would look a lot like Beetlejuice. Like how she was in Beetlejuice. I mean, not exactly the same because she wouldn't be wearing black, but it was funny when I love the whole break-in scene where they're like, okay, and they all like, I love his outfit. He's wearing
Oh
the
my
bomber jacket
god.
and that baseball hat, and
I
then everyone's
know.
wearing black. And I was like, I love how Winona looks so at home in this black baggy outfit. She just looks like this is what I wear. Like this is what I would actually wear. This is what her and Johnny Depp would actually wear, probably, which is so funny. I love when they do that whole break-in scene. And they're like,
I know. Poor
oh,
Edward. He's like doing this cute face. He's just like so frightened,
I
you know?
know. It's like he's like a puppy, like a
He does
scared
look like a
puppy.
puppy. Yeah,
Yeah, like a scared
exactly.
puppy. And of course, he breaks into the room, and then the alarms go off and like lock him in. And then he gets arrested. And I was like, oh no. But then he never ratted her out. He is ride or die, Edward is, because he easily could have been like, well, Kim told me to do it. And that's why I did it. But he didn't.
I
So
know. He's just such a
then
good
I
person.
know. And then she kind of changes. Like I think after that, she's like, "Why? Oh, you could have ratted me out. Like you didn't, you know?" He's like, "Why did you do it?" And she's like, "Cause
Because
you
you
asked me to."
because you asked me to. I know, he's so cute.
It's
Oh
like,
my god.
and then they have the Christmas party, and I think the neighbors are like, or I think it's the dad or something. It's like, do you still want to have this party? Like everyone in the neighborhood now like knows that he tried to rob this house, and like everyone kind of feels weird about him now. And she's like, no, no, we're still having this Christmas party. So they have the party, and then in the back, I love when he's carving the ice sculpture in the back.
Oh yeah,
So cool.
that's so like again one of the most iconic scenes in any film. Like
Yeah, totally. And she's like dancing in the snow because it's like all the ice.
I also love how it was really spot on, like how the whole community or neighborhood changed their they just changed and they decided like he was bad and they were like, I knew from the very beginning, I knew there was something weird about him. And yeah, like he tried to rape the was it the
Yeah, that
neighbor.
Joyce.
I was like, it's just so lucky that you got away. I'm like, oh my god.
I know, what a fucking lie.
That's just how gossip works, and like how neighborhoods back in the like I'm sure some I mean I don't know how it is now because I can't even imagine it, but definitely in the 80s I can't imagine like people in smaller kind of like villages or whatever when everyone knows everyone and everyone talks about other people's business, and I just think it's so mean how they all turned.
Yeah, they totally. And they're just and they know that he's not from, I mean, do they know that he's like a humanoid?
I
Like,
don't think anyone knows.
yeah, right? I think so. Like they know
No.
that he's not from a kind of like typical like human existence. They know that he lives in this castle isolated for who knows how long. And they just like I can't believe they don't make any allowances for it, but the mom does. Like for some reason she knows and understands and doesn't, she doesn't let that, she still like sees the good in him throughout the whole
Yeah.
thing, and she still doesn't want to believe that anything's bad. So then of course like she's out, or he's out and doing the ice sculpture, and then Jim barges into the backyard, and Winona's there, and he accidentally cuts her. Like I think Kim like reaches out for his Edward's hand, and he slices like her palm, and it's just like a total accident. And she was like, "No, no, no, it's an accident." Jim freaks out, And he's like, get the fuck out of here. Don't ever touch her again. And she's like, no, get off of him. Stop being mean. So she goes inside, and that's when he like takes off, and he's just like running around the neighborhood. And I love it. He like rampages through the town. Like he like cuts the tires.
Oh yeah,
And
he's so
he's like
pissed.
so mad that like this fucking asshole that he did the work for breaking in. Like this is the guy, and he's mad obviously that Kim is with such a fucking douchebag. And I'm just like, oh god, this is so bad. I love how he cuts the tires, and he's like sitting on the stoop on the side, or like the curb on the side, and the dog comes up to him, and he like cuts the bangs out so you can see
Yeah, but also, oh yeah, that's really cute. But also, he saves the boy's life.
Kevin. Yeah.
And
Because this guy is like, I think Jim is like talking to his friend, and he's like, we have to get this guy out of here. Like, what are we gonna do? So he has his lights off, and he's like driving through
he's
the
drunk
neighborhood.
driving, I
Yeah.
think.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, they were drinking in the back. And then they just like almost hit Kevin, and then he grabs him. Like Edward comes out and grabs him and like tackles him out of the way, and he cuts his face because clearly he has these blades, but he didn't mean to do it. And fucking Jimbo freaks out, and he's like, "Oh my god!" Starts like beating him up, and then everyone's just like, "Oh my god!" The cops are coming. So then he like runs back to the castle, and I love how when you see him go back in, and like all of the shrubs are like overgrown. Like you can see his sculptures, but you can see how he hasn't lived there for so long. So like some of the vines and stuff are growing in the garden and stuff. So it's not like
Hmm.
manicured like it used to be. And then Jim is like running in after, and then Kim is also like running. Kim also runs in too, and they're like, "Oh my god!"
And all the neighbors.
Yeah, all the neighbors were like coming in the like a mob, like an angry mob, but they're like several steps back. And then fucking Jim tries to kill Edward with this fucking gun. And I love how the cops say that they've like killed him too. They like fire up in the air, and they're like, "Yeah, he's dead." And then they just like they didn't. They don't even want
Yeah,
to
I
know
love the
he's there.
cop. He's a good cop.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, they don't kill him, thank God. So then fucking Jim comes in there with a gun. Where did he get that? Like, isn't he supposed to be in high school?
I know.
Like, where'd you get a gun? Who knows? Tries to kill him, and then he hits Kim. Like Kim is like, get off of him. He's like punching him and kicking Edward and everything. And Kim's like, get off him. And he like kicks her across the room. I was like, what? This is so
Yeah. No,
awful.
he's awful.
So awful. So finally, Edward protects her and does what we all think he's gonna do, and stabs him through the like stomach, pretty much, like right by that window. And then dude falls out, and goodbye him. And then, oh, my favorite scene probably in the whole thing is
the
when like,
kids.
yeah, they kiss, and then they look at each other, and he's like, goodbye. Like, I've already, I've done this bad thing. Like, he knows that he's done this bad thing, and like, I think he hears like sirens or something. Like, I think he thinks that they're gonna come take him away, and he's like, goodbye. And she's like, I love you. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, they essentially are married right now, like in real life. Like,
Oh, I
how did
know.
they do that? That's so crazy that they. I always assumed that they met on this film, but that's insane that they met before.
They did, yeah. One
Dating
just on
already.
like a year earlier.
Oh god, that's
I
why it's
guess
so good.
wait, maybe not even a year earlier because they must have filmed the movie. When did the movie come out? In December? Not
December of
like.
'90, yeah. Let me see if
So I wonder when did they shoot it?
let's see, filming, let's see if I can find a date. I don't see a date when they started filming. Yeah, I don't know.
They must have met just a bit before they
Yeah,
started the
probably.
film. You know?
Yeah, I would assume so, right? So, but they were already dating when it happened, right? I thought they
Yeah.
met, like, on set, like, they
No.
never met each other, so
No, no, no. They met before, but
oh,
it's pretty cool.
yeah, it's really cool. I was like, "Oh, it's so cool." And then she comes out, like Kim comes out, and all the neighbors are outside, and they're like, they see Jim's body on the ground, and she's like, they killed each other. Like he shot him, and then they were fighting, and then they killed each other. So like, goodbye. Like get
Mhm.
away from here. Like don't investigate. And then so then that's it. Like he just stays in this house, and he's just in this house, like still cutting, doing the like sculptures outside. Like no one ever goes up there, so no one would ever know. And then we get the flashback to like Grammy Kim, and she's like, I never saw him again, but like I still think he's alive. And every time, like, and it never snowed before, and then you see him like cutting all the ice like up in the attic.
No.
Oh, and then like snow, and she's like, I still catch myself dancing in the snow. I was like, oh,
Oh, her makeup. She looks like super old.
I know,
Like,
but she has the same voice as like Joyce in Stranger Things now. Like,
I know.
it sounds like how she sounded in like 20 years or 30 years, actually. This is the 30th anniversary. Wow.
I can't believe this movie is 30 years old.
Oh,
I can't believe it. I can't. I feel so old.
I know. I feel so old. Like, it's kind of insane.
We were 7 when it came out.
I know. That's probably why I didn't see it, because I was like, oh, it looks scary. I'm also really terrified of Halloween. It's really funny that we're doing like a Halloween kind of like creepy movies for this last week of October, but I am terrified and have always been terrified of Halloween. So that's probably why I didn't see it when it came out, because I was like, I'm very terrified of masks, and like even now, like I just don't like it. I don't. My mom said she's no idea why. All of a sudden, I was young and people had masks on. She's like, you just didn't like not being able to see people's faces.
Oh.
I really found it disturbing that people were like pretending to be someone else, and you didn't know, and someone you knew like had another face. Like, it really just, like, you just screamed for no reason. She's like, we never said anything to you, but you just really had an adverse reaction. So I would hate like dressing up in school and like all that kind. I always would be like Minnie Mouse or like a pumpkin or something. I was like a mouse or a pumpkin.
A pumpkin.
Yeah,
Aw.
I was really little, like really tiny, and a
Yeah,
mouse.
it's so crazy. I definitely love scary films from a very early age, and I guess I am a masochist because I love being scared.
Oh, oh.
Even though I suffer, I struggle, like, because I watch
Do
so
you watch
many.
true crime too?
Pardon?
You watch true crime too?
Yeah, true crime. Also, growing up in the 80s, like, there were so many horror stories,
Mhm.
like all these shows about, yeah, like true crime, American and some Mexican shows actually that were really dark and um,
A
just
lot of
scary
great,
films.
a lot of great horror directors are Mexican.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. I don't know why that. I find that very inspiring, and I appreciate like storytelling when it comes to scary films. Like
It's cool.
more than any other type of film. But yeah, I basically my mom just do like send me to turn the lights off. Like,
Mhm.
let's say we had this house and it was like a 2-level house, right? 2 floors. And we'd be in the bedroom and she's like, okay, it's time to turn the lights off. You go. I'll be terrified of going because then it meant that I had to go downstairs, turn the lights off, and then walk through like a hallway and then go up the stairs in the dark. And I was so scared of ghosts and things.
Oh.
But it's just really funny. Every day was like a mission. It's like, okay, I'm on a mission. I had to run as fast as I can to turn the lights off and come
Oh.
back.
That's cool.
It's funny the things that you were afraid of.
Yeah, it's super cool though. I mean, I guess I never had that. I'm not afraid of the dark. I don't think I ever had an afraid of the dark thing, like a lot of kids have. Like, I don't think I ever had that, but yeah, I'm against like possession films and like really like gory like Saw and shit like that. I don't mind
Oh
a lot of
yeah.
like thrillers. I think thrillers, like Hitchcock films, like things that are smart.
Hmm.
Like I like things that are creepy and smart that
Yeah.
won't show you everything. Like
Yeah.
you just, like
Exactly.
those are the ones I like, which is pretty cool. So what do you have for like your mood and theme? And I know what you have, but what do you
Yeah. I mean, I can't really express enough how much I love the set.
so cool.
This is just all the things that I love, really. Like these colors, the whole vibe. Like also, like I told you this before. Like I think growing up in another country and like obviously Mexico and the UK, like the architecture and everything about the US is like fascinating. Like some parts, like Florida, for example, like not like not actual Florida, but you know what I mean. Like this style of houses and neighborhoods is just so different.
Yeah,
Like Memphis, for example, like another place, right? Like the South. I just find it really inspiring because I'm just not yeah, it's just I haven't grown up with that, so I find it really like cool and like exotic in a way.
yeah, totally.
And so yeah, I love that they Also, the other thing about this film is that it, I love that before computer graphics and everything, like this is how you used to make movies. This is how you used to like scout for locations, because you had to find places that were similar to recreate the sets. And now everything is digital and you can just do a studio and then post production will do the rest or whatever,
How is the neighborhood like? This might be a crazy, stupid question, but like, did they just paint those houses?
Yeah, so this is
They
what I
did,
found.
right?
They were driving through like this neighborhood in Tampa, and they saw these houses, and Tim Burton knew right away. He could see past what he was actually seeing. He's like, we got to recreate this neighborhood, and we're gonna actually just use it. Because it was quite. I'm not sure whether there were people living in that neighborhood, or it was like I'm not actually sure about that, but they painted all the houses. Yes. So
Oh,
all the
wow.
exteriors are actually filmed in the real location.
That's so
It's
cool.
only the interiors that are filmed in on like a studio, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, wow. That's so cool. Did you find anything else out about the
Yeah, they ripped out all the nature from the actual neighborhood and then replaced it with Edward Scissorhands, like
those like
Edward's
scrubs?
foliage or whatever you call it, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so yeah, I just I love it. It's I don't know. I love the costume. I can't even tell you what my favorite outfits
I
are
know. I was
because
gonna say, what are your favorite
I
outfits?
feel that I can't really pick one because even the stuff that Joyce and Peg and Kim and I feel like all the neighbors wear. It's amazing. It really comes together with the set.
Mhm.
Like even what the men wear, all the color combinations and like I love so many of the outfits that Peg wears because she has this sort of Chanel inspired tweedy sets,
Mhm.
with like the 3/4 sleeve jacket and like midi skirt in like tweed or I don't know in lilac or like
Yeah.
pastel colors
I
and
wrote
her
very
little hat.
Jackie O. It's very like Jackie O. Like that's
Exactly. And it's again, it's weird because I definitely feel that I don't remember exactly if the movie's meant to be in the 50s, but it can't be
no,
because then
because there's like that van and
there's a van, yeah, and
the
there's again
alarm.
80s elements.
Yeah, like the
So
alarm on the
I
house.
guess maybe it was 80s. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe 1990. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I think it's so I guess so fantasy driven that it's just such a weird situation that
you can't place
yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not like supposed to know.
But I love what Edward wears.
I
I
know,
love
it's so
that.
cool.
That's so brilliant. Like to come up with that outfit, and um, I guess it's tape. I think
The
all the
black
black.
the black thing?
Yeah.
Is it tape?
It's like the crow. You know how they use
Oh,
tape.
yeah. Mhm.
And I loved all costumes really. All the whole set, everything just comes together really like beautifully. Um,
That's
but I can't really think of like specific. I mean, as I said, I just love them all. I love when Edward wears that shirt, the white shirt with the high waist pants
uh-huh, they're all
that
baggy.
are kind of baggy. Like I love that look.
Yeah, it's super cool.
And then the contrast with the haircuts that are very very 80s, very sculptured, like weird, like short on one side and long on the other side.
Very like
Like
Fifth Element. You know, like that movie? Do you know Fifth
yes,
Element? Yeah, like
hmm
some of it's like really weird and out there. There's one that has like these pieces that like come down. I don't even know how to describe it. It looks alien.
yeah.
It looks so alien. It's cool.
No, I know. Oh, I love the yeah, I love that film. Like the whole set and everything was really cool.
It's
Um,
cool.
yeah, I think that's it. Really. What
What did
about
you
you?
have? Okay, for I have just two dashes of a note for the music. The only music that we hear are like three Tom Jones songs, which is
Which we
funny.
we talked about before. Yes,
Yeah, which
we
is
love those.
so funny that that's another film that Johnny Depp has that has Tom Jones in it. 'Cause Fear and
I guess he
Loathing.
was just really big at that time. He had like
Yeah,
a lot of great music,
I think it's so
out.
funny. And for fashion, I have a little bit more detailed notes. I love Edwards. like main outfit that he wears like under everything, which like we were
The
talking
black
about, like the
one,
black,
yeah.
the buckles, so cool. I love that
Very
the
metal, like that and
so
gothic.
fucking metal and so cool. And so many people have done really amazing Halloween costumes as Edward, like throughout the years. In LA, Halloween's a big deal,
Is it?
as you could imagine, yeah, because it's LA. So there's like tons of costumers and people go all out. They have
Oh,
big
that's
costumes,
right, of
like
course.
they go to all the bars you go to have, and they have a massive parade in West Hollywood where I used to live. And they have
Oh,
like one of my friends won an Edward Scissorhands contest at a bar, like I think 2 years before I moved there. And he showed me pictures and he literally looked exactly like him. Like he got it made 6 months before Halloween. It's a big
wow.
deal. Yeah, it's a big deal. You win money. I mean, you win like $5,000. Like you win big money to have a big, really like imaginative costume. So yeah, Edward Scissorhands is a big costume in LA Halloweens. I'm sure it probably still is because it's just so cool, and people can make those things. Like so many people work in the studios, they can make those scissors.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, they can
that's
make all that
true.
cool shit. I love the suspenders with his outfit are like two pieces of fabric safety pinned together.
Because he caught them by accident.
Yeah, it's so cool. And then I love the red robe and the PJs. That's so cool in the basement.
That is really cool.
And then the break-in outfit with that like satin bomber and that fucking baseball hat.
Yeah, that's definitely not in my favorites.
Oh, I love it. I think it's just really funny because he looks so funny in it. So I think it just looks so funny. For Kim, I love at dinner she has that blue set where it's like cropped. It's like a blue. She wears it later on too. It's
Oh yeah, it's a
like,
crop top
yeah,
and
crop
skirt.
top. But
Yeah, she looks
she said she was
super cute.
uncomfortable, which it kind of you can see. There's one where she has that yellow outfit on, and she has a little yellow bag like your shrimps bag.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
like
How
beaded. I
amazing!
know it's so cool.
How amazing! Yeah, no, I remember that.
The
Yeah.
red jumper with that white shirt underneath it, and then she has like the socks that match. Like she has the red socks on. It's when she's watching TV, when she's watching him on the TV. I like
Yeah.
that outfit's cool, and I love that white dress at the Christmas party with the
Oh
buckle.
well, yeah.
That
No, she
buckle
looks
top,
so amazing in
so
that.
cool. Such an
She's
80s
like,
dress.
yeah, with the structured shoulders and the nice neckline. That,
Mhm.
yeah. But again, that looks very 50s to me. That dress.
Yeah, it is. Are the shoulders 50s? Do they have
No,
like
that's
shoulder?
40s. The shoulders,
Oh,
but
yeah,
um,
cool.
that's what I love about it. You can't really say there's so many different elements all kind of mashed together.
Yeah,
Like
totally. It's super cool.
yeah, it's
And
so cool.
and then for
Such a feel good
I
movie.
know it is. And then for Peg, I just have a lot of her outfits are the same fabric. It's that same type of fabric, and then I just wear like super Jackie O style.
Yeah, and
Um
hairstyle actually.
yeah, too. That's all I have for that. What are your favorite scenes or lines?
Um, there's so many. Honestly, I know I can't pick too many, but um, I just feel like yeah, there's so many brilliant ones. Like I love it when Kim arrives, like he's in the bedroom. I
Yeah.
think it's really funny. And I love it when he's trying to eat that pea, and then he's like,
Mhm.
he looks so happy that he's almost got it, and then he kind of goes flying, and he's like, oh, he just, that whole thing is just really funny too. And the barbecue,
Oh
because
yeah.
everyone is feeding him, and all the men are like telling jokes. Not that I got the joke myself, but they're all talking, but like, Eddie, la la la, you gotta come with us somewhere. And they're like, make a joke, but I don't really understand it.
What
And
do
he's
they
just like,
yeah, what do they say? I can't
I
remember.
don't know, but he obviously doesn't get it either. But that whole thing is just funny. Like barbecue's so American, and just yeah, I don't know. It's just funny. Yeah, tell me your favorite line and favorite scenes, and then we do lines.
Okay, my favorite scenes, okay, are when he first sees the photos of Kim. I love
Yeah,
that. When they first like properly meet in the basement, when like she's already screamed and seen him in the bed, but then when they actually like she actually brings her down and she's like, "This is Ed. He's gonna be Edward. He's gonna be staying with us for a while." I think that's really funny. Oh, he's just like that's how they actually meet. So that scene's pretty funny. I love when they break into Jimbo's house. That's just really funny. Just
Do you? Yeah,
yeah,
it's one of my favorites.
I like
Oh,
that. And then the ice sculpture snowing.
yeah, that's just so like I know it is a classic because she's just doing this like really slow motion dance,
Mhm.
and
Yeah, it's so good.
it's just so dreamy and cool. And I love how like I love that it's like it looks like snow. It is snow, but
Mhm.
it comes from him doing the sculpture, like ice
Yeah.
sculpture. It's just so dreamy. Everything about it is just really cool. And I think I read somewhere that yes, of course, like the story you mentioned it, like the story was inspired by like Tim Burton's own experiences of being like an outsider
Mhm.
almost, and like so many people could relate to that in that sense. It was like a metaphor or like an analogy of like how it is to either be an outsider or a little different or even autistic to a certain extent, and um, just like some people will bully you or pick on you, like other people will like kind of like you're kind of mesmerizing because you're some weird thing that they've never seen before or like I don't know,
Yeah,
but it's
totally.
yeah. I mean, I think I love that about the film too.
It's really cool. I really like directors that like Tim Burton isn't in my top director. Like
Same, yeah,
I really love directors that create like their own worlds and their own like
yeah,
aesthetic. Like I don't like Wes Anderson, but I like that you can recognize like his look. You know what I mean? Like he creates this kind of world that's just his. Like I
hmm
like things like that. Another big reason why I love Gregor Rocky is because like you can always tell his films and like they just the cinematography,
they have a
set design,
signature
yeah,
style, yeah.
work so well together. So I appreciate that even about Wes Anderson. So,
That's cool.
so yeah, I like when directors have that vibe. You know, not every director does. I mean, everyone works differently. Fincher is another one. He has like a vibe. You know, like you can tell the way he like films things, or even Mindhunter. You know, even that's
Oh yeah, I know he does have
Fincher.
style,
Yeah, he has
even though
really good
he can do which I love that too, that he can do outside that, his
style. Mhm.
style. Like he has that ability to just not be because when you watch House of Cards,
Which
you
I've
can't really
started.
tell it's David Fincher. It's
No.
not obvious to you, like because he had to do different. He had to have a different approach to film that
Hmm.
show. So, but
And it's great
yeah,
that it
okay.
can translate into, or for Tim Burton, it's great that his vision can translate into commercial things like Batman, for instance.
Oh yeah.
Granted, that
Mhm.
is a supernatural like comic book story, but it's just cool how his vision can translate even into something so big, something that everyone can relate to, which is cool.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think after that, most of his films are pretty sort of like fantasy of that kind of style.
Mhm.
But you obviously know he can do other stuff.
Yeah, totally.
It's just what he likes, I guess. Do you have favorite lines?
Yeah, I have two.
Okay,
How many do you have? Do you have a lot?
I have three.
Oh, okay, cool. Let's do one and one.
Okay.
So my first one is, "Those are your hands?" That the mom says.
I know, that's funny. It's just the way people say things is funny too.
Yeah, it is really funny.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it earlier, but I love that. Sweetheart, you can't buy the necessities of life with cookies.
I know.
I love that.
So funny. My next one is the "Hold me, I can't."
Oh,
No, I love that one.
yeah, mine are long. Mine are definitely longer, but um, when when they're having dinner, like Kim's friends are having dinner,
Oh, yeah.
and then Edward is like cutting the meat, and then she's like, "No thanks." He's like, "Why not?" He's like, he used his hands. Don't think that it's sanitary."
Oh god.
I was like, I mean, you do have a point, yeah.
Yeah. Pre-COVID.
Yeah. Do you have one more?
No, no, those are my 2.
Okay, I love this one again. It's really long and silly, but I just love it. I love that moment more than a lie. When Peg says, blend and blend and blend. The secret is to blend. your complexion is so fair. Let's do a touch of lavender.
And it actually works. Like his
And he looks blue.
yeah, his
It's
skin is like a
funny.
weird, like the color they have him in is like a weird paley bluish purple anyway. Like it looks
Yeah.
funny.
And no, she's just so sweet. I love it also when she's at the house and like how she's like, hello, hello, I'm your local Avon representative. But then after like when she's on top, like kind of is very close to get to the room where he's in, she's like, this is some huge house, isn't it? Thank goodness for those aerobic
Oh, I
classes.
know.
Like she's just talking to herself
That's so
about like,
funny. I love when that girl, she's trying on those lipsticks. She's like, I like these two. And then she's like, great. And she's like, I hope you don't think I have any money.
I know.
It's like, oh, I was like, oh, that's when I think she looks out and she sees the castle and she's like, fuck this. Like, I
Yeah.
haven't made any money. I'm going to go check out this castle.
Yeah, and apparently Tim Burton said that he did base the characters on people that he knew growing up,
Oh,
like in his
really?
neighborhood, because he lived in a neighborhood in California that was like kind of like suburban
Yeah,
sort of thing.
Burbank. Yeah. Burbank's
Yeah,
right outside LA.
is it nice?
Yeah, it's like a suburb. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's like, it's nothing crazy. It's where a lot of the studios are when they tape like Jay Leno and like those late night shows. Like they're in
Oh, okay.
Burbank. Like they have a lot of like movie studios in Burbank.
Hmm.
Like, yeah. So that's where a lot of them are, which is kind of cool. So do you have any 90s moments?
I don't, because I don't feel like it's 90s. I feel like there's a mixture of different things.
I
I
have
don't
a
know.
few.
I mean, the only 90s things was like the Avon thing, obviously.
Yeah.
But I guess that was 80s as well. And I'm not sure whether that was around in the 70s. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or maybe even from the 50s. I don't
Yeah,
know.
door-to-door salesman is definitely like old.
Old,
That's even
yeah.
like what, the 20s, the 10s? That's how
I don't
people
know.
bought things. They didn't have catalogs. Like
Oh,
people
that's
came door
true.
to door. Like we were watching Boardwalk Empire a while ago and like Van Alden is like a
Oh,
door-to-door
yeah.
on those irons. Like that's how people bought stuff.
That's true.
Vacuum,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
everything. So yeah, that's super old school.
Yeah, I mean, I guess 90s would be like the phones again,
I
like
have
calling.
waterbed is 90s.
What? That's
That might
true. Not
be
that
80s,
much
but I think
older.
it's pretty 90s too. I wrote people having 9 to 5s. It's kind of 90s. It was like the last time that
Oh, that
people
is
weren't like
true.
freelancing.
Yeah.
And when I love when you see all the dads like come home like and leave at the same time because it's like they all have like 9 to 5 jobs, like the men.
Yeah.
That flame paint job on the van is super 80s/90s.
That's true. That is.
And then the fact that they didn't have a cell phone and then she couldn't say that she was coming home early, because like there was no way to call
Yeah.
her and stuff like that, and no way to know that he was there because obviously the mom would have probably told her if she talked to her on the
Hmm.
phone. So yeah, that's all I have.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Same.
This was super fun. I hope everyone enjoyed this somewhat spooky, scary, but not really story. And in retrospect, I guess we probably should have done Sleepy Hollow because that actually is fucking terrifying. Um,
It is scary. Yeah.
yeah, but it's still Johnny Depp, and maybe we'll do it.
Maybe we'll do it
Maybe we'll do it at some point.
later.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can still do it later. It's still going to be spooky season because the fucking election's coming up. So that's just
Dark
that's
times.
spooky. Yeah, that's spooky
That's
too.
scarier than anything
Scary.
I know at
Yeah,
this
I was gonna
point.
say it's scarier than anything that could be coming out. But yeah, this was super fun. If you made it to the end of the episode, thank you. And like and subscribe. Follow Fashion Grunge Pod. And why don't you tell them where you are, Jai, online? And since we should tell everyone where they can follow you.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. I'm like
Sure, I'll do some
self
self
promotion.
promotion.
Yeah, we'll do it at the top of the hour.
Well, you can find me on Instagram at Jai_Style Factory. One word. That's it.
Sweet.
Jai, Jai,
Yeah.
not Y.
We'll tag it. Don't worry. I tag it in almost everything and in the show notes. So if you haven't gotten this far, it's in the show notes. So yeah, I'm super excited. Have fun in this last week of October. Do your own Halloween thing. I'm excited.
Yeah, enjoy all the pumpkin products available.
No, and candy. Apparently candy is flying off the shelf.
I am so happy to consume pumpkin everything. I love it.
I don't, but
pumpkin spice, pumpkin cake, pumpkin lattes, whatever. I love it.
No, it's not in my list. But I'm gonna make cookies today, chocolate chip
Cool.
today, finally. So yeah, so have fun, everyone. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you. Bye.
Bye.